Sweet. All right. Kick things off here. Tia, how have you been doing mentally the past week?
Mentally, the past week,
Yes.
I've been doing pretty good, honestly. I feel like I've been in such a good mood and ready to take on the day when I wake up, which when you're on that streak, it's kind of good to just keep riding it out.
Yeah, for sure. Did you have any challenges, or what would you say is the biggest challenge that you had to overcome in the last week, either physically or mentally?
I would say a challenge this week. I took a new workout class, I guess, and it was pretty early.
Yeah.
Is it going?
Yeah, no, we're good.
Oh,
we're good. I'm like making sure the camera's recording, like the audio is good, but we're
Okay,
good.
good,
So
we're
you took a new workout class.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I guess that was a challenge this week, getting up early, getting there on time, pushing my body. I haven't taken a workout class in a while, so it was a nice kick in the butt for sure. I took it at Barry's in North Loop. It's my first Barry's class. Nice. Yeah, it went really well.
Yeah, would you recommend it?
I would. If you're into the HIIT kind of workouts, I would say.
Okay.
Because do you know what goes on at the Barry classes?
No, I don't.
So typically, at least from the class that I took, it was you do intervals on the treadmill, and then you will go to the floor and do weights, and then back on the treadmill. So definitely gets the heart rate going, and you also get to do some weights and stuff, which is awesome.
Sweet.
Yeah.
To kind of just start off this podcast, would you be able to give a little background up to this point in your life? Kind of like where you grew up, where you went to school. You're going to college now, which is super interesting. We'll dive into later. But would you be able to just share a little bit of that?
Totally. I'll give a little rundown of my life here. So, born and raised in Minnesota. I grew up in Prior Lake most of my life, and that's where I graduated high school. So that's just south of the cities. I also kind of grew up, I guess, in Belle Plaine. My dad lives there. My parents are divorced, so my dad lives there. So grew up a good portion in Belle Plaine, which is just south, kind of towards Mankato and stuff. And then after high school, my college career was kind of all over the place. I started my freshman year at Mankato, and at the time, I think my degree was nursing, and then I ended up switching it to exercise science, and then back to nursing. I was just, kind of confused, kind of, figuring out what exactly it is that I wanted to do. And then after my freshman year at Mankato, I ended up taking, I think it was about a year gap, and I worked and just really thought about what it was that I wanted to do, because I didn't want to waste any more time or money at school, or even if that's what I was passionate about. And then I ended up going to Normandale. It's a community college, and then I finished most of my general classes there and prerequisites. And then from there, I was still now set on nursing after thinking about it and what I wanted to do. So then I went to Rasmussen and I got into the nursing program there and I started it and everything.
Yeah, quick question. What made you choose nursing over the other interests that you have?
Totally. I feel like from a very young age, I've always been interested in the medical field. And so when I first really started nursing, my path within it has kind of shifted, and I'll kind of get into that a little bit. So when I first wanted to go to school for nursing, I wanted to be working in a hospital and be working with patients. And now what I want to do with my nursing career is specialize in aesthetics. So working, doing cosmetic nursing, Botox injections, fillers, and all of that fun stuff, and kind of combining it with what I do now, which is lashes. I'm an eyelash technician, and I guess I'll get into that in a little bit too. So yeah, my interest with that has totally shifted, but I love medical and I love beauty, and so combining the two is kind of the best of both worlds. And working with patients one-on-one. And that's what I do now with clients. I work one-on-one, and I love building those relationships with them and getting to know them on a one-to-one basis, and being able to do whatever they need done.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did you also work while you were going to school?
Yes. So, yeah, for the most part, I always had a job. Usually, like in the beginning of school, it was like pretty part time. Actually, mostly part time through all of school. And then my recent year was probably the busiest I've been with work and school.
Okay. Yeah, because you're working full time, right?
Yes.
Yes.
But right now, I'm not in school.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Because I remember you sharing like your process of going to school to become. Now you have to go like another year for college.
Yes, just
And-
about, yeah. Under a year, yeah.
What do you have to go to school again for?
So I have to get my RN degree, which is a
Okay.
registered nurse. So
Yeah.
finish nursing school. And then once I get my degree, I will take classes that will specialize in aesthetics. So training courses, pretty much.
Yeah. I remember you sharing that it was like a difficult choice for you to make, right? Because you could have completed school like pretty early, but they made you take like other classes. Is that correct? To like
Kind
complete
of.
your degree?
So at where I just was at Rasmussen,
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, there were some classes that were definitely challenging, and there was some credits that didn't transfer over from like a previous class that I had from a different school. So yeah, I had to retake some, and then I ended up not passing a class, which life and nursing, it's hard. So yeah.
Do you like college overall as like an experience? Because you're doing a lot of it online now.
Yeah, a lot of it was online.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think probably when I go back, I'm assuming everything will be in person too. Which, granted, during like the pandemic and stuff, online classes were nice for me during that time, especially with work. But I definitely prefer like in-person classes.
For sure. What originally got you interested into getting more into like the beauty space and doing lashes for people? I might butcher like the names for like lashes and stuff, so please
Hey,
forgive
it
me,
is
but I'll do my
okay.
best.
Yeah.
But like, when was the initial point where you're like, oh, I really want to dive into this space, learn more, and get like a degree for
Yeah,
it?
totally. So it's been about 4 years now. So I'm coming on 4 years of lashing this fall, which is insane. Time has flown by so fast, but I had always been interested in the beauty space. So like ever since high school, but even before high school, I was always like, I would love watching my mom get ready as a little girl, like doing her hair and makeup. And then in middle school and high school, that's when I really watched a lot of YouTube videos of makeup artists and hair artists. And then come high school, that's when I started doing like proms and homecoming for people, like doing their makeup and hair. And then after high school, I started doing weddings, kind of just word of mouth, advertising myself like, hey, I'm a freelancer doing hair and makeup, showing my work that I had. And then I think it was in 2019, I did makeup for the Northern Vogue fashion show that was here in Minneapolis, held at the W. And so that was a really cool experience. And then
How did you get connected to like do that show?
Instagram. Someone
Instagram.
posted about it, and I was just like, I'm interested. And then I think she had me send some of my work, and then she was like, yeah, you can come.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Dang, just Instagram.
I know. The power of social media honestly blows me away.
So was it just like the work that they saw that you did through your Instagram, and they like saw your work and you're like, okay, this is legit, we'll hire you?
Totally. They like gave me a rundown of what they wanted and like the kind of looks they were going. So it wasn't anything crazy by any means, and it was more of a job so for me to connect. Like I did it totally free just for the experience and to get my name out there and to meet other makeup artists, but it was super cool. It was a really fun experience.
And then kind of moving on from that show, what did you do after that?
Honestly, within like doing makeup and hair and stuff,
Yeah, just in like the beauty space.
yeah, I think that that's when I got a little more into my Instagram. Like I was not posting a lot of my work. And so I was like, okay, I should really get more involved on social media so people can find me, so people can see my work. Because I feel like that's just a great way to get your name out there and meet other people.
Yeah. When did you start working at the Lash Sanctuary then?
Yes. Okay, so back
Was
to
that kind
lashes.
of after? Yeah, was that kind of after that show happened, or what? Yeah, I'm kind of like thinking.
Yep.
What happened between that?
So I started doing lashes in 2017, and I know a friend of mine, since she knew that I loved everything about beauty, hair, and makeup, she was like, you should totally look into this. And she at the time had like a starter kit to lashes. And so she gave it to me because she was like, yeah, this is not my deal. I don't need to mess with this. And so I was like, okay. It was like the basic things for what you would need, just like lashes, glue, and a couple tweezers. And so I was like playing around with it, and that's when I was like, okay, this is cool. So that's when I started really diving in, watching videos. I ended up buying all my own products. And so then I started doing my sister. And,
was your sister your first
person?
Yeah.
And if she was here, oh gosh, the stories she would tell. Yeah, she's been my practice model for everything. So she's been through all the trial and errors. But yeah, she was my very first person I practiced eyelashes on. And my other friend, Summer, who's like another sister of mine, I did lashes for both of them. And then people started seeing their lashes, asking where they got them done. People started contacting me, and I was like, oh my gosh, okay, wait, this could actually like be something. This could be like my side job. And so I started practicing more and more. And then I think it was maybe like 2 to 3 months in of practicing. That's when I took like my real first client. And then it was just from there, word of mouth traveled. I started doing lashes out of my home for maybe a year, close to 2 years. And then I actually started traveling to clients, which looking back, I was so affordable for traveling all over the Twin Cities. I would charge like $65 for travel and service. And I was like,
what does someone normally charge for that?
Oh gosh. I mean, depending on travel, like, I was traveling from Belle Plaine to like Plymouth some days, which is a far drive. So I feel, I don't know, people would maybe charge over like 100 something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you weren't like charging like $20.
No, oh my gosh, no. But I do remember my starting prices for lashes. It was like $30 for a fill and $65 for a full set, where like $65 could be a fill now.
How did you go about pricing your services?
Yeah, so I kind of went off. So I knew what, like in salons and studios or people who've been doing it for like years, like what their prices were, which usually a full set can range anywhere from like $100 to $200, depending on experience, product, and what type they are getting. So I kind of just based it off of my experience and how long it took me. Because when I first started out, full sets took me like 3 hours, and now they take me like an hour. So I think it was just the time and experience, and also that I was just starting, and it was kind of a hobby, fun idea turning into like a side job. So I kind of just started at like low, affordable prices, and then slowly built my way up with experience.
Yeah. Okay. Did you start with like a core offer that you would offer to like new customers that were like looking for services, or did you have like a set packages that you could offer to people?
Not really packages, I would say, because typically they would come and get one service done at the time, I guess, when I was just alone. Okay, so going back to when I started working at the Lash Sanctuary, so I was at home, and then I was traveling, and then I was doing it back at my house, and then a year ago is when I started working at the Lash Sanctuary.
Okay. What's it like doing it at your house? Like, to make it work?
Yeah,
I mean, do you feel like
totally.
most people start doing that at their house?
Yes.
To like kick off their career? I mean, I feel like that's what a lot of people do, especially like haircuts and beauty maybe. Like they start somewhere that's not necessarily maybe like a school, and they're just doing it for like other people. Do you feel like a lot of people start what you were doing specifically at their house? Or do they go for like school for that type of stuff?
Yes.
Start?
It depends. So I feel like most lash technicians and lash artists, most that I know have started at their house. So I know in cosmetology school, you can also get certified in lashes, but I knew I didn't want to do like the whole shebang with that, like the hair and makeup schooling. But what I did was I found a lash school that I could go to get my license and everything. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, majority do start at their home.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Was that lash school Lash Sanctuary, or was that like a different school you went to?
Total different school. So the Lash Sanctuary is just the studio that people come to get services done. Yeah.
How did you start then working at the Lash Sanctuary? So
my friend Greta, who I work with, she owns the Lash Sanctuary. And I met her through her doing my lashes years ago, probably about 4 years ago now. And we built this relationship and friendship just from appointments with each other. And we first started doing weddings together. So she went to cosmetology school and professionally can do hair and makeup and all that. And so I had told her, I was like, yeah, I pretty much freelance doing hair and makeup. And she was like, that is amazing. Would you love to do weddings with me? And I was like, absolutely, I'll do weddings with you. So we started doing that together. And then I had told her that I do lashes at home and stuff. And so we had kind of always talked about working together, and time had passed by, and then we would still stay connected. And then one day, we grabbed lunch and we started just talking about our future plans, like what we want out of this. And then it kind of just happened. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What did you want out of that during like your initial conversation?
Yeah, so I just wanted a studio besides my home. Okay. I was done working out of my home.
I need a studio.
Yeah, and a professional setting and just like a storefront for people to come to. And at the time too, I wasn't like leaving my house. I did school and work at home, and so I wasn't really leaving, and I like kind of getting out, especially like separating home life and work life. And
that sounds even worse than like working from home, because you're working from home with like school, but then you're inviting people into your home to like work.
The last place that I live worked out pretty nicely because I lived with one roommate, and then we had kind of like a half bedroom, so I turned that like little bedroom into like a little studio space, so to say.
Oh, you had an extra space for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that worked out nicely. But the way that our house was set up, we were in a duplex, and so that like extra room was connected to my bedroom, so we always had to go through my bedroom into the room, which it would probably be a little different and better if it was just like come in, go to the room.
Yeah.
Instead of like come in through my house, go through my bedroom.
So this is my kitchen.
So welcome everyone. Hey, I had my house cleaned all the time, so that's a plus.
That's good. Oh, that'd be so creepy if you're walking into like someone's house for some type of haircutting or lashes or anything, and their house is just a mess. I would just fear for my life.
I know. And yeah, that would be
like, oh,
yeah. And usually all like of the clients that I've seen were always through people that I had already seen or that I've known. So I was never too worried on my end, but I'm sure maybe someone else is like, who is this lady?
Yeah. Was it hard to convince your roommate to be able to like open this up in your extra space?
Not too bad, because before we moved in together, she knew like that's what I was doing for my job. And so when we found this place together, with the extra bedroom, it was kind of like no brainer that I would use it, and she was totally cool with it, thankfully. Shout out Jess.
She charged rent at all, or
I gave her free lashes.
Oh yeah, okay. I see the deal.
So there's the little switch out.
Nice. Was she coming in there like every day for free lashes, or?
She actually had pretty good retention, so.
Okay.
Not you would think every day, but.
That's funny. Okay, so you ended up joining the Lash Sanctuary. You're able to get out of your house and do it there. what was kind of the first day like for you being able to do it in that type of setting? You kind of started this as a hobby and you're able to now see it through to being like full time. I'm doing it now. I'm getting paid for it. I'm not doing it out of my house. What was that first day like?
Yeah. Let's see. Let's think back here. It was honestly, I remember I was really excited. I was pumped. I was like, dang, I'm about to work out of this space. I'm not at home. People can like come here and get familiarized with the space. What I was most worried about is just having like my past clients come to this new location. And I just wanted them to be as comfortable as possible and having like the commute be okay and everything, which I think for most of them, it wasn't a total issue, but it was awesome though. Like the first week, it was just cool and like fun going to work and not having to wake up and be like, okay, my office is here. People are coming here.
That's funny. How did that work like at maybe a business level between like you and Greta? Did you join just kind of trying it out with her? Did you join becoming a part of the business?
Yeah, so during the fall of last year, I filled in for her while she was away on her honeymoon. So that was kind of the like trial aspect. Even though it wasn't my clients, it was still getting a feel in the space and using the system that she has going on there. But so when I first officially joined, I was basically a contractor. And so I still run like my own lash business just under the Lash Sanctuary, if that makes sense. So like I still do everything my own, like my own marketing and all of that. I am full control of my schedule and appointments. And so, yeah.
What is some advice? Like what's one piece of advice you would have to someone that wants to work with another individual and is maybe just starting out super fresh, super new, kind of like you were at that initial point? I mean, obviously Greta knew of your capabilities and skills, but maybe, she didn't, like, let's say she didn't that much at that time. What would be like one piece of advice you would give to someone that is trying to just get in the door and like show someone that they're capable?
Totally. I mean, I feel like if you are starting out in this space and you want to get into a studio or work with someone, I think, definitely getting to know them before really working with them is super helpful, and being able to know how you two would work together is really important, especially when it comes to like business. And being able to decide on certain things together, make decisions together, and just how things are ran. And staying on the same page, because if two people are not going towards the same goal, or if their vision isn't aligning, I just think in the end, it won't work. It'll clash and it might not be the best fit for you. So I guess maybe doing your research ahead of time, or getting to know the space or individual who you'd be working with. Otherwise too, just maybe taking a chance and seeing what it could lead to, because maybe you don't know someone super well or a space super well, but you're like, I really want to get out there. Definitely say go for it. I mean, you don't know until you try, and it could either be a total learning lesson or it could be the greatest thing ever, and you can just continue to grow into what you're wanting to do.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's good advice. And like even what you shared too, social media kind of helped you in the way of getting started with the show, and then also just being able to form a relationship with people that you would like to work with, and being able to build that into something that you can work together on. How long would you say it takes for you to become like a master at doing lashes? Because isn't a part of your title like master
eyelash technician, yeah, or artist? That's a really good question. Personally, I feel like I can catch on to things super easily, and especially when it comes with working with my hands, I just naturally pick up on a skill quickly. So I think it really depends on the person and how much you are putting in to lashing, say, or whatever it is that you want to perfect. But personally for me, and I feel like when I got to the point where I was like, I am like so confident in my skill, my ability, and the way I can provide this service, I would say probably a solid year.
Okay.
Solid year
Solid
of
year.
constantly doing it.
Every day during the week, every 3 days of the week.
Yeah. I would say 4 days out of the week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And then what would you say has been the most helpful like resource for you to learn that? Is that, you know, it's probably a mixture of things, I would guess. But if you were to like ratio it out, what would you spend most of your time if you could divide it up doing?
I honestly would say 50-50 videos and doing. I feel like I learned a lot watching videos, and there's so many great resources on YouTube of especially the really detailed stuff, and then taking what you saw and learned and going and doing that. I think, yeah, those are pretty equal into doing. Yeah.
And you got a YouTube channel too.
I do have a YouTube channel.
Learn some stuff on there for sure. It was really interesting when I was watching some of like the YouTube videos, because I didn't really know what all went into, like if you went to get a lash appointment, like what that all went into.
Yep.
And I didn't know that you like add eyelashes to like people's eyes. I thought you kind of just did things. Did you think it was the skin? No, I thought it was like, because they look denser and darker, so I thought it was maybe like what would you say, maybe like an ink, or like make like something denser that was going into the eyelash that was making it a little more thicker. I didn't like. I saw you started adding. I'm like, oh dang! Like,
yes.
they're so
it's
small.
It's very
too,
precise
like,
in detail.
Yeah.
It is one. Well, depending what style again, but like a classic set, it's one eyelash extension per one natural lash. So very,
per one natural.
Yeah.
How many do you have to add then?
Oh gosh, I don't know. It depends on the person's lashes. Some people can have like pretty thin lashes, so I don't know how many. People always ask me a number, and I was like, I don't know.
Oh my god.
But then some people have like really thick lashes and have a ton of lashes.
So are we talking like 50, averaging 100?
Probably full set, maybe 100 over 100.
Wow.
Yeah.
100 new ones you have to add?
Yeah, for a full set.
Wow.
Around
how do
there,
you
80
count
to
that?
100.
How do you count that?
I mean, I never personally counted, but I'm thinking of on a strip of lashes, how many come on there.
Okay.
I should count that and get back to you on that.
So are you kind of averaging out? Are you just always adding 100 lashes then to people?
Not always. I mean, so that like I said, it depends totally. I mean, some people when they come in, so say they're coming in for a brand new full set, some could maybe have way less than others. So that's where I'm averaging maybe 80 to 100.
Yeah. Video break. Okay,
and so the way our eyelashes are layered, they're kind of layered like shark teeth. So they're not all in a line. They're just layered. Like there's like a top layer, bottom layer, middle layer.
For the eyelashes?
Yeah.
Really?
Do you get the visual that I'm saying?
They're layered, like top, kind of bottom, and or top, middle, bottom.
Yeah. So there's a lot packed in there on that lash line.
Dang.
Yeah.
So do you just visually estimate them then, or how do you know how many to add?
I just add until they're full, until I get every one.
So they go in like placements, like there's like places where you can put them in.
Yeah. No, I put it on the hair.
You put it on the hair?
Yeah, like the eyelash.
Oh, so
I'm placing, so say this is a real lash.
Yeah.
And say this is a fake lash. Mm-hmm. I'm totally doing a visual, whoever is just listening to this audio. So I'm taking this extension and placing it on top of the real lash.
Oh, so you're not making like new lashes, you're adding a top and bottom.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, now I get it. Wow, I was confused. I thought you were
I'll do a new YouTube video on that. Close up.
For people that just have no clue, but
yeah.
No, that was interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's a pretty cool process, honestly. It's so satisfying watching videos and doing it.
Yeah, I was like, it's kind of like the pimple popper, but not as disgusting.
Yes, something like that.
So what other services do you then offer?
Yeah, so we also offer brow services. So we offer brow tinting, brow waxing, and brow lamination. And brow lamination has been one of those like hot new trends, which is super fun and everyone's been loving. So for those of you that don't know what brow lamination is, it's essentially perming your brows to stay in place. So it kind of gives it that fluffy, fuller look. So if like some people have brows that are kind of all over the place or they like slant down, it just holds them up. And that's
Just like this?
Yep.
I just, okay.
Yep. And then we also offer lash lifts. So if someone didn't want to do extensions, we can perm their lashes up to give it a natural curl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Has there ever been like a freak accident with anyone? Either Greta, me, I don't know if, maybe I don't want to speak to anything Greta's done, but maybe just for you too.
Yeah.
Have you ever had like a freak accident?
Not necessarily any freak accidents, but allergic reactions can happen from the adhesive, which it's very few people. And like any allergic reaction, it can happen even after having eyelash extensions. So I've only had a handful of clients that have had reactions, and typically if they do, they've been pretty mild, so they can just take Benadryl and usually it'll like their eyelid will just kind of swell up and get itchy. But other than that, no freak accidents.
Oh shoot, did I give you that one?
And I hope I never get allergic.
You should get a friend that you know is a little allergic and then just kind of like prank him a little bit. Be like,
oh my gosh, no.
Did I do that one?
We can do patch tests though. So if someone is ever hesitant or if they maybe were allergic and kind of want to see how their skin reacts, we can do a patch test behind the ear and see how their body reacts.
So you kind of patch test, is that like scratching them on their skin with it?
Yeah, so we'll put a dot of the adhesive there and we'll let it sit for 24 hours and see if anything happens.
Okay.
But speaking of services, we do potentially have a new one coming later this year, which I don't know if I can say right now, but exciting news happening this fall.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
And then do you have to do any, because you're doing training for that, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And where are you going for the training?
So it's at a place in Edina.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there, how do you justify adding new services? Do you just kind of ask people that you're kind of, are your customers right now if they'd be interested in it?
Well, the way that I kind of go about adding new services, I am always just wanting to expand and be able to offer more than just one service. It definitely brings in new faces of people, especially with brow and lashes. You know, some people only come for the brows or some people will only come for the lashes, but then there are some who will come and get both. But typically, like, I'll have some clients ask me about certain services that we might not have, and then I'm like, okay, like that'd be pretty cool. Or I'm always kind of seeing what like the trends are or the hot new things coming in that sort of space.
Is there many like new trends in that industry that pop up a lot, or is it kind of like rare? Not super common.
It depends. So like brow lamination, I don't know how long necessarily it's been around, but I feel like it really popped off this past year, and a lot of people have been doing like at home brow lamination or doing like soap brows like that. I know that was like even a trend on TikTok, or people were doing like the soap brows, giving them the fluffy look, but then obviously you can just wash it off at night. So I mean, things definitely come and go, but I think the service that we will potentially add, I think it'll be around for a while.
Yeah. Interesting. This is more of like this is more into like the mental health side of the beauty space. How has being in the beauty space affected like your mental health either positively or negatively, and how have you like managed to stay positive with being in the beauty space?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I feel like personally, it hasn't really affected me too much, like in a negative way. I feel like if anything, I am aware of what is coming out and how whatever the service is will go, I guess, so to say. I mean, I'm not too necessarily worried about anything negatively affecting from the services that we provide now, but maybe potentially in the future, when I specialize in aesthetics, maybe that whole space will shift gears in me in a positive or negative way. But with what I have been doing and been around, I would say, if anything, it has left a really positive impact on me because I get to help these women. Like, they'll come in and they feel so good and so excited about their new service they got, and I just want to be able to make women feel beautiful and great from the inside out. And that's when it comes into with like working with them one-on-one. You get to grow that relationship, get to know them, but then also give them this service that they are blown away by.
Because you talk a lot with them.
Yeah.
Like during it?
Yeah. For the most part. It's either a lash nap or it's therapy session, kind of.
Tia's gonna be... Would you ever consider like doing therapy or learning anything more about in the therapy world to like translate that into what you do for your work?
Totally. Yeah, I've actually never thought about that, but that's a really good idea. I would love to dive deeper and learn more about that to kind of bring that in, since I am talking with people one-on-one on a consistent basis. So yeah, that'd be really interesting to look into.
Yeah, it would depend on how like willing they are to open up to you too. Because I know like, especially for fitness trainers, you're working out with someone, so they're pushing themselves, mentally and physically, and they can more relax and be in a state where they can like share things with like your trainer more. So I've heard of it happen a lot in that type of environment. But for like your environment, do you think it is like that open space where like you can talk to about anything? Like, how close are you to the person that is like other people, I guess?
Totally. I think it really depends. Like, I have some clients who just right off the bat are so open and just will tell me their life, which is awesome. I'm glad I can be that person for them to open up to. But then there are some clients who are definitely more reserved and, just kind of don't get too deep or anything, which is totally fine too.
Yeah. You shared a story with me about like a negative customer a while ago. Was that the most negative interaction you've had with a previous customer? Or did you have any others that were like even greater than that one? And then how did you handle that negative experience?
So, okay, to preface the situation, we had a client that had to cancel her appointment last minute. And typically, if you cancel within 24 hours, there's a cancellation fee. And so I think we had gone and charged her cancellation fee, but it didn't go through on our end. But on her end, it said it went through, but I don't think it was taken out. So she just called freaking out, and because she said she couldn't make it of an emergency, which, okay, life happens, we get it. So she was upset about that because she was explaining her story and stuff. But she was screaming at both Greta and I. And I handled the first portion of it. And then she ended up calling Greta and talking with Greta as well. And so pretty much we just, totally let her know that we can refund her and that we are so sorry about like the miscommunication or any thing that went down. But we always want to be understanding when it comes to situations like that, and also, give back to our clients if there was a mistake. And we never want to, come off like we're the bad guys and like we're just here to get your cancellation fee and stuff. So I don't know, definitely not giving any heat back because nothing comes out of that. But yeah, I feel like just handling it with, politeness and just biting your tongue and
Yeah. If that's the worst thing, that's great, because like there could be plenty of worse things that could happen in like that space, because you're working just more on the physical level,
Totally.
you're working a lot with like the eyes and stuff.
yeah.
It's probably difficult for an issue like that to happen,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I mean, no, it sounds like you handled it well, and that's like a good mindset to interacting with any negative customers. Just like kind of give them what they want, and as long as it's not the entire business, like refund them.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Funny. You've been trying a lot of new things. You're kind of getting into some, what would you consider it? Would pottery be?
I guess I can kind of fall into that realm, but
Yeah.
I've been getting into resin art, but
Yes.
also now,
Yes.
also now kind of tapping in to working with concrete, which has been super fun. But yeah, I picked up this hobby over the summer and I'm still learning. I'm still just playing around, having fun. I'm trying to find and figure out like what my style is and what my style is going to be, because right now I'm kind of just experimenting and just trying out new techniques and skills with it. It takes technique, it takes time with resin, because the cure process takes a little bit. And also when you are doing like a pour, or if you're adding any items in it like flowers or whatever it may be, it can be pretty difficult to work with once it is actually in the resin. But that's been super fun. I would love to see where this goes, this like hobby side hustle. A few of my friends or even people that I haven't seen for a while have actually reached out and bought some pieces, which is awesome. So that's super cool. But yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, I didn't know you were working with concrete. Really? Working with concrete?
Okay, so the story behind
Yeah,
this.
so I'm getting these, creating these sidewalks on the street.
No, they're actually really cool. I love the concrete pieces that I make. I haven't posted any yet, but so I really wanted to work with this product called Jesmonite, but they don't sell it in the US. They're like mostly based in the UK and in Singapore, and so shipping is pretty expensive for how much you're getting. So I was like, maybe for another time. So I've been looking up DIYs and anything like similar to what it would be. And concrete has been working the best. I did try this product called Plaster of Paris, which is kind of like a concrete, but it's not as solid, I guess. I mean, it's solid, but it breaks easily, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, fragile.
You're doing this all in the apartment, right?
I'm doing it all in the apartment. Hey, I kind of have like a good setup now. So when I do my concrete, I lay this whole plastic covering over my island, and I get everything in its workspace. And then when I do my resin, I set up a little station on our patio.
Hey, at least you got the patio. That's
Hey, I
nice.
got
Yeah.
it works.
We destroyed the patio at the other place we were in. T and I, we used to be roommates.
Yeah, we
back
were
at the
roommates
old
for a
place.
bit. Yep.
We had to split up once we got to this new. Yeah, we are. For those watching the video,
We live
we
in
are
the same
a brand
building.
Yeah, we're in the same building, but I am in a new place, and I have the screen printing table right there with a bunch of boxes. Then I have my bed right here, so it probably looks like a mess, but it is pretty organized back there for somewhat. But yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You're also trying out like jujitsu too, which is pretty cool. You're starting first class next Wednesday.
Yep. I'm so
Yeah.
pumped.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
shout out Austin for giving me telling me where I should go. Little jiu-jitsu over here.
But more into, you're trying a lot of new things. Like long term, what would you ideally like to be doing, and what would your lifestyle like to be like in the future?
In general or out of just like,
Let's say in like 5 years, where would you like to be at in life, and what would your kind of lifestyle be like?
So I feel like I love having multiple things to do. So like, for instance, like my life right now, like I'm trying all of these new things. I like to be active, whether I'm doing art or whether I'm physically active. I love to live a pretty healthy lifestyle. So whether it's trying out a new skill like jujitsu, or whether it's maybe becoming a trainer somewhere. I did have the thought about that. Maybe we'll see. I'm not sure. Or a coach. I just love being busy with lots of things. I feel like I have lots of interests, and sometimes I overwhelm myself because I think I can do it all and that I have all the time in the world, but I don't. And I know I don't want to, run myself too thin and do all of these things and not be good at any of them. So that's a thing I need to work on, is like narrowing down a few things and really focusing in on that. But in the future, let's say 5 years, I would hope to still have all of these interests and hobbies, potentially still doing them or adding new ones in. And I can see myself still working in a studio, doing lashes and aesthetics, and potentially, depending how all of that goes, I honestly just, as the years go on, I want to create a life that I can have freedom to do stuff. So throughout the years, and say like 5 years, I hope I would have more freedom than I do now, but still doing everything that I love, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or have the freedom to do whatever I want. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. You're gonna have to try to mitigate out of the service space, because I know we've talked about like yourself, opening up with Greta, like even thinking of like new locations for Lash Sanctuary, and like kind of what that looks like, and that'd be amazing, and it would open up more time for both of you to focus more on the business side and be able to train new people that were maybe you one day. That's cool. Who would you say is busier, Devin or you?
I mean, let's not tell him, but I think me.
Let's go.
I'm just kidding. No, we're both.
I'm kidding. You don't have to answer that, too.
Yeah. Devin's going to listen to this and be like, are you kidding me?
She is way busier than Devin. Let's go.
Oh, man. I know. I come home. He's just chilling. Oh my gosh.
But how do you manage a relationship, because you're both trying to do a lot of cool things? Like, how do you manage a relationship with someone that also has the same ambition level as you do?
Definitely. We for sure make it a priority to have time together. So recently we've been setting aside a day a week to have like date night. And so even though we're together and live together all the time, we're not always necessarily like there with each other. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we'll be in the same household, but he's maybe doing something and I may be doing something. So we really love to make it, set a time to have together.
Yeah. You've both done a great job of that.
Well, thanks, Austin.
So, yeah. You see it on the gram. Sometimes I don't see it on the gram. That's still good too.
Yeah. No, we have fun. We have a good time together.
Yeah. Sweet. Yeah. To finish off the podcast, if you could leave your last piece of advice to your younger self, what would that be?
I would say just do it. As Nike would say, just do it. But I just feel like looking back at my younger self, I would contemplate a lot of things, or just like sit on the thought or sit on the idea, and I wouldn't always be one to like take action right away. And then like I eventually do later on. So I think advice to my younger self would be just do it.
Sweet.
Yep.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Thank you, Tia, for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Austin.
Let's go. Oh, Tia, how can people find you?
Oh, people can find me on Instagram at tia.lashsanctuary. That is my lash page, or at Tia Ariana.
Sweet.
Woo.